You've probably heard often that your teenage years or your early 20s are the most important years of your life, and what you do in those years will dictate what happens in the rest of your life, right? But if you're a similar age to me, then you understand that that's quite hard to grasp because it hasn't happened yet. So how are you meant to know how these years will affect the rest of your life if you haven't lived the rest of your life? Well, as humans, and assuming you're some sort of ambitious person if you're watching this, we have to learn from the people that have done it, been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, and basically take on board what we can. So here's what I've been doing since I was 17 years old, bearing in mind I'm now 19 years old, that are going to set me up massively for my future. First, I'll cover the financial things, and then I'll cover the fulfillment, aspirational things, so stay with me. First is planting seeds and planting opportunities, because time is your biggest asset and your worst enemy, but you have to take advantage of it and use it as leverage to where you can. And what I mean by this, assuming you're a teenager, maybe early 20s, you have to start planting as many seeds as possible that will hopefully grow up and sprout into something big. And let me give you a quick example of how I started doing this at 17 years old. An example is I started posting consistently on my TikTok account, which I had no aspiration to grow into anything big, but I thought I'll start doing it in my spare time, and fingers crossed it will grow into something which I can take advantage of later on down the line. Now 2 years later, that TikTok has grown and sprouted into something fantastic, which has allowed me to make a lot of money, grow a bunch of other ventures off it, become brand ambassadors for companies that I didn't even think I would have a grasp of, and basically it's jump started my life in a way that I would have never expected it to. And it's the same thing with like online businesses, right? You can start multiple different online businesses and try as hard as you can, maybe they'll go nowhere, but you will learn so much more than you would have if you didn't start those online businesses in the first place. And bearing in mind, your late teens throughout your early 20s are your risk years, right? They're your years where you can take on as much risk as you want, because you can start fresh from the age of 25 and then actually start your life. It's the same thing with investing, right? Use time to your advantage, because time has a compounding effect, and that will completely change your investing results down in the future. So start planting those seeds, start planting those ideas in the ground in which can grow into something that you don't have a direct target goal of, but anything can happen. Secondly, investing early and often. This isn't only because of the benefit of time and compound interest, but this is also so that work becomes an option sooner. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, according to Albert Einstein, and you might as well take his advice on that. So even investing small but consistent amounts as early on as you possibly can, and just knowing that delayed gratification is going to do absolutely wonders for you later on in life. Thirdly, take risks. Like I said, your late teens and your early 20s are your risk years, where you can do absolutely anything with your life. You can become homeless if you want, and then actually start your life mid-20s, late 20s, right? But obviously you want to use it to your advantage for something actually proactive, so take risks, but take the risks in a good direction, which you may fail, but you're going to learn more as if you didn't take them in the first place. Because you can't take those risks when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, maybe you're starting to build a family, have a girlfriend, because then you have people to be responsible for. And you will hate yourself, I'm assuming, later on in life if you didn't take those risks earlier on in life. Fourthly, education. I know it will pain you to hear this, especially if you're in uni or you just come out of uni or something like that, but learning about something that you're actually interested in and intrigued in is so different to learning about something that you're forced to learn about. But firstly, I never thought that I would actually read an educational book, but then I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and now I have a shelf over there of about 50 other personal finance entrepreneurship books, just because I realized that, you know, actually learning about something you're interested in is like, it becomes a hobby, right? It's not a chore, it's not something you have to do, it becomes something that excites you, and you will go absolutely nowhere in life if you don't educate yourself. I mean, that's quite straightforward. So find what you love and learn absolutely everything about it inside and out. And last but not least, look after yourself. Exercise is the best therapy on earth, and if you're in your prime, this should come at no surprise to you. If you don't have your dream body and a good mental state in your 20s, then you have no one else to hold accountable for that. Like, your brain and your body is in the prime state to be molded and formed into whatever you want it to be, like psychologically and scientifically it is. So stop drinking and smoking, because it just makes you poorer, dumber and fatter. And that's it. Those are the things I'm doing in my teenage years and my early 20s to set myself up for the rest of my life. If you enjoyed this video somewhat or other, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.